Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I'm a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The word for today that we are going to look at is if. Now, language is a really bizarre thing because the one universal thing that I've found is it doesn't matter what language you speak. There are many words that are very self debilitating, they are barriers to your success. Now, with the situation that we are currently facing, with this pandemic that has affected literally everybody, whether people want to believe where it came from doesn't matter. What if we had done things differently? Well, if is a great word. It's also a fantastic, it's a great way to dream. But the reality of it is, it gets in the way of a lot of issues, a lot of success. What if it goes wrong? You've heard the term. If it looks too good to be, if it seems to be good to be true, it probably is. I prefer the flip side of that, which is when it looks too good to be true, it's about time. Now, this does not mean live in a fantasy world. The reality is there are always potential complications. What if something doesn't happen? If is a great thing for getting your mind working on different possibilities. If one isn't working, well, what if we do this? Okay, when you stop with the idea of if, more often than not, it complicates things for you. If you buy into the negative side of things, you can get really caught up in all kinds of reasons not to do them. Okay, trying to learning a new language, for instance. Well, what if I say something wrong? In case you hadn't noticed, even though English is my primary language, I still stumble over it quite regularly. Well, what if I was a perfect speaker? Would that make my message to you any better? Would that make it any more effective? In my opinion, probably not. The reality of it is that I am the way I am. Okay, now I'm not content with certain aspects of me, and I will tell you, my publicist is absolutely, you got to give her credit. Her patience is absolutely bizarre. Okay, um, now what if you put something off? Well, I used to be a professional procrastinator. And the one thing I found with that is if you don't get up and do something, you're not going to have it. You're not going to get it done. For instance, my coffee cup. If I desire a drink of coffee, I'm going to have to take that cup and get it closer to me. Which comes back to that funny thing about changing where things are. But if itself works fantastic for math, it works great for getting your mind thinking. What if I did things differently? What if not don't look to the past. Let go of the idea of I should have done it before. I wish I hadn't done that in the past. Well, the sad reality is we are where we are. It's very much along the same lines as what if COVID hadn't come? Would people have ever started looking at themselves? Would you have started looking at the way your life is? Would you have looked at the relationship that you are currently in? Probably not. And the reason I say that is because, even from my standpoint, until COVID really hit and everything took a major turn, I really was choosing to ignore a lot of things that I should have been doing. And I say I should have been doing them, in my opinion. I knew better. I chose not to. Okay. What if the past hadn't happened? Well, if the past hadn't happened the way it did, you wouldn't be who you are. The trick is when you're looking at the word if, more often than not, you can substitute it to when I do something, or what if it works. It's a kind of convenient. As I said earlier, what if? Now you can ask that. That's one of those questions that's really, it sends you down a rabbit hole that's incredible. Okay. Now, I was told growing up that as I get older, as you get older, your eyesight is going to fail. And I asked the question, what if that's a misunderstanding? What if the mind can correct it? Okay, so I went looking for answers. Now, 10 years ago, my eye, like I'm still wearing glasses, so no, they're not perfect. But 10 years ago, if I was holding my glasses right there, okay, and that's only, that's in my arm, so obviously I can move them, I could not physically see them. Without my glasses on, I could not actually see them. And I went, well, what if I can find a way without surgery to heal them by simply understanding the mechanism? And what I discovered was that if I did that, or more to the point, when I did that, I now have, for reading purposes, I have 20/20 eyesight, which is fantastic from my perspective. Okay, as I'm getting, and this is in spite of the issues that I've run into. Okay, we can try with the thing that collapsed my eyes to start with. Tore it apart with a trailer hitch. Tore the right eye apart with a trailer hitch. Then had a stroke that should have created all kinds of problems. Well, it did. My eyesight wasn't one of them. Because I got it in my head that if I put the right thought process into it and found the right tools, I could change it. Okay, and subsequently what happened is I did change it. Okay, now from your standpoint, whatever problem you're facing, whatever obstacle you've come into, most of the time, in my opinion, there is a way around it. I will not say it will be easy. More often than not, it's a lot of challenge. There's a lot of obstacles to deal with. But what if there is that possibility that we can open that door for you and go, here's a tool that you haven't looked at? The reality is, if you're watching my videos, or more to the point, since you're watching my videos, you're looking for insight that you haven't had before. Whatever it is, there's a lot of tools out there, there's a lot of guides out there that are giving good information. But the fact that you're listening to me says you haven't found what you're looking for. So, absolutely, at the bottom of this video, you'll find a list of ways to get a hold of me. When you have a complication that you cannot, through whatever means, find a way to solve, drop me a line. I'll be happy to see what we can do about finding an answer for you. Okay, that's the easiest way I can put it. Remember, like my video, subscribe to my channel so you can see all the videos as they come up. I do my best to get at least one a day up. Sometimes that doesn't work. My life goes a little screwy on occasion, just like yours does. But I have found ways that are working for me, and these are tools that I personally use and that many of my clients use. If the tools apply to me, I'm putting them to use. Okay, if they don't apply to me, well, frankly, I can't put them to use. Well, I could start the problem and then put it to use. I'm not about to go there. So take a look at that. Now, the word that you just heard me backtrack over, the word can't, I've done another video already on that word. There are a number of words that fit into that category, into the category of self-debilitating, of creating a problem for yourself, of self-limiting your level, like your level of personal success. So I encourage you to get a goal in mind. This is the time to change the way your life is, to start eliminating the things you're not content with. And together we can do this. So, absolutely, I will leave you with this for the moment. Okay, I do keep these short for a reason. Frankly, because most people have very limited time anyway, or at least they feel they have limited time. So, until we talk again, take care of yourselves and each other, and for pity's sakes, stay positive.